Today we're playing Matchmaker a little bit, and we are going to be booking some of the fighters that were off of the main card or the prelims for UFC 311. Wild fucking card, to be honest. To start off the prelims, it was kind of a dud, to be honest with you. But as the card progressed, we got to see finish after finish, or great fight after great fight. Every undefeated prospect, or every undefeated fighter lost their O. We saw multiple fraud checks. We have 2 new divisional GOATs. We saw some bangers of fights towards the end, man. So overall, very eventful card, and we're going to get to Moicano, bro, because it just hurts my heart even thinking about it. Just started with Islam Makhachev, I guess, to open this up, man. Islam Makhachev, I say, okay, well, I guess I got to give some context and preface this first. So Dana has come out and said that Arman Tsarukyan will not be next for the title shot. He seemed pretty pissed off and kind of made it seem like wink, wink, nudge, nudge that Arman could have fought but didn't. I'm not going to even go ahead and point fingers at Arman or whatever, because I'm sure that was frustrating enough, you know, because if the injury really was that bad where he couldn't fight, and that was the perfect time, if any, for Tsarukyan to get that shot, man. He was looking in good condition. All the Armenian fans, I didn't even know all the goddamn Armenians were in LA, but like all of them were there for it, and it just seemed like that was a guy who, in Tsarukyan, had good striking, good wrestling, good cardio, was coming off a solid win over Oliveira. Close, but solid, and he was the one who kind of had all the tools to really give Makhachev his next big test, because Makhachev, especially now, has fucking cleared out, you know, half of the top 10, and like, who's even left? Like, you know, there's like Holloway, Gamrot, Beneil Dariush, shit like that, so there's just nothing really for Makhachev right now. And then if Gaethje beats Hooker, I mean, I could totally see the UFC just giving Makhachev Gaethje, but that just isn't something. I just don't want to see another guy just coming off a 1-fight win streak, even though it's Gaethje, and all love to Gaethje, and if he's able to get past Hooker, that'd be great, but I personally think Hooker's gonna win that. And like, Hooker, Makhachev, I understand when he fought Hooker the first time it was on short notice, but like, whooped Hooker really quick, so like, really, sorry, my whole point with this is that Tsarukyan is the only one who really, like, it was just genuinely exciting, you know? For some of these other guys, I feel like Makhachev, yeah, he was like a massive favorite for the Tsarukyan fight, but it was different. Like, there was a different energy to it. It was someone kind of fresh. And even Oliveira, people were talking about just giving Makhachev, like, the Oliveira rematch. I mean, as an Oliveira fan, yeah, that'd be really cool to see, and, like, it'd probably be a banger of a fight, but it's just, Makhachev already beat him so efficiently and so quick the first time, man. It was like a round and a half fight the first time, and like Makhachev beat him on the feet, and then he beat him on the ground in his own game. So it just, Oliveira's coming off of a good win over Chandler, don't get me wrong, but it's like, it's fucking Chandler, bro. So I don't even know how credible this shit's even getting anymore. But basically, Makhachev is running into this problem where, since UFC or Dana, whatever the hell, doesn't want to just rebooking Makhachev and Tsarukyan the rematch, Tsarukyan versus Oliveira 2, man, make it 5 rounds, have those guys duke it out to find out who like the true #1 contender is for Islam. Timing wise, you can make it work. Islam could fight in like the early fall, and then maybe Oliveira versus Tsarukyan 2 go down maybe at like the Miami card, maybe sometime in May, I don't fucking know. But yeah, so I think at the end of the day, Makhachev should face the winner of Oliveira versus Tsarukyan 2. Give them 5 rounds, make it a full-fledged war. It was a good fight the first time. Now they're gonna run it back, both having learned a lot from the first time. So it's a really intriguing fight, and it's one of those rematches where, even though it's kind of coming around pretty quick, I think most people will be down to see it for a lot of reasons. And especially, man, it gives Makhachev a clear #1 contender, because right now, man, if we're having to talk about like the winner of Gaethje Hooker, no disrespect to those guys, man, all right, no disrespect, be humble, brother, but Makhachev's beaten half of the top 10 already, and the top 10 that's left, it's just not that intriguing. So with Topuria having to face Volk, maybe they could run that, but I feel like I'd want to see Ilya face like a Diego Lopez or an Evloev before that. It just sucks that, you know, I'm a big Volk fan, you know, and the fight is good. The rematch between those two is getting more exciting as it's getting a little closer, but like, still, man, it's unfortunate that we can't just really have Topuria face like more of a full-fledged #1 contender in the division, you know, and something fresh for Topuria like a Lopez or Evloev, because then after that, I'd be down to just see him face Makhachev, but you know, but I want to see a little more longevity out of Topuria at featherweight, just a little bit more, man. I understand Makhachev versus Topuria is a great fight, it's a super fight, and it is so fucking intriguing in so many ways, but I just feel like Topuria and featherweight, it's kind of at a logjam right now. We gotta run through Volk first. Hopefully Volk gets that one done, baby, but still, and then the whole double champ status, maybe Makhachev just faces the winner of Shavkat and Bilal, or like maybe Makhachev wants to stick around at lightweight for a little longer until the belt is fully off of Bilal. Like, who knows what's going on with that. So for Makhachev, it's unfortunate that there is kind of like this logjam right now, and everything kind of needs to be figured out. He's just so dominant. He literally just became the divisional GOAT, so it's just like kind of just running through guys right now. And unfortunately, it's kind of a waiting game for the #1 contender to kind of really emerge. I say give him the winner, Oliveira, so you can too. Enough of the yap, and moving on to Merab versus Pantoja. So for Merab, Jesus Christ, man. An amazing win, one of the best underdog wins I've ever seen, and like clearly the betting odds should not have been there in the first place. I was preaching that fight was gonna be close, and people were just putting so much disrespect on Merab. Hey guys, Dana, I am very happy to be here. Thank you, boss. Thank you for the opportunity. I want Sean O'Malley quadrilogy. After racking up so many good wins lately, and the Merab is in a problem similar to Makhachev, where he's kind of beating a lot of guys, and it's kind of just rematches left for him right now, because Merab, you could do O'Malley 2, which is what the UFC is probably going to do and really wants to do. Unfortunately, I wish they would just give O'Malley just one fight against a contender. Give him a Sandhagen or a Figgy, even a Cejudo, bro. But no, we're going to get that rematch, and I feel like Merab's going to smoke him. Merab versus Jan 2, that could be a little more interesting, but it's just like, I feel like Merab, I mean, we saw the first fight win, and yeah, I feel like Jan's kind of getting a good couple fight win streak going. He's been making improvements. I'm sure he's hungry to fight Merab, but there's just that one isn't really going to sell a lot, man, even like hardcore fans, because it's just, we saw the first fight win, and then Umar, people are talking about doing the rematch with Umar, but it's like he just beat him now, and yeah, it was a good fight, and it was a good scrap, and it was close. Umar did take those first couple rounds, and like, I broke hand in first hand, brother. I don't give a fuck about that, bro. All right, injuries are gonna happen in the fight or outside of the fight, and it is unfortunate, and again, it was a good fight, so it would, I don't know, I just don't want to see Umar get like an immediate rematch, man. Like, he already didn't have that much credibility as a contender in the first place besides his last name, and like, look, Umar proved in this performance alone that he is really good. To push Merab that far and to give him that many problems, you know, Umar showed, man, that he was worthy of getting the shot and that he is legit, and I still think he could beat everybody else in the division, but it's just, let's build him up. Like, you can't just have your only good win or only recognizable win being Corey Sandhagen for this long, man. All right, before you're getting back-to-back title shots, like, Umar's not the most active fighter in the world anyway, so like, just let the guy build himself up a little bit. So for Merab, if we're not trying to just give him some kind of rematch, in which I don't really want to see him versus Jan 2 or him versus O'Malley 2, at least right now, I think O'Malley and Jan should just duke it out for a number one contender fight. I think that makes sense. But I think that you should do Merab versus Pantoja. I mean, look at Pantoja right now. Like, yeah, there's big talks of him going through and fighting Kai Kara France in like April or May. But like, that isn't one of those title shots that fans are begging for. And Kara France is not a contender who's really earned it compared to like somebody like, let's talk about Merab, bro, who had like a 10 fight winning streak and had beaten 3 former champs. Kai Kara France is coming off of one win, one solid win. Don't get me wrong, it was an impressive knockout, and to beat Ursuv like that, I just tried to go out there, do it for the Kiwis, you know, do it for my people. It was a rough loss, but we're gonna bounce back. Steve Usyk, bro, like, it was a solid win, and especially coming right after he fought Pantoja. But I just, what are we doing with the guys getting one fight wins and then just getting a title shot? I understand it's flyweight and they're seeking any contenders that they could possibly get, but here's a fight for Pantoja that makes sense. And then while Kopp and Royval duke it out to see who could become the number one contender, which, and if they really do Merab versus Pantoja, it really adds a little more of a dagger. Like, so we really just didn't get Kara France versus Kopp for nothing. But still, Kopp versus Royval's a solid scrap in its own right. But Pantoja, they're really, the whole point with the Kara France shit is that they're really having a hard time just seeking contenders for this guy. Like, Pantoja wants to be active and he's becoming a dominant champion, really coming into his own, personality or fucking not, dude. And I feel like this is a good time to do Merab versus Pantoja. Both of these divisions need to figure out their number one contenders. Like, let's do O'Malley versus Jan 2, and then let's have Kopp and Royval duke it out, which they're going to in March, and then at least number one contenders can arise, and it feels a lot more natural than like doing Merab versus O'Malley 2, which could maybe be an intriguing fight, but like, I feel like you gotta rebuild Sean a little bit first. Like, and it's a rematch where the first fight, it wasn't entertaining, and 2, yeah, Sean could make improvements, and I know he was like kind of hurt maybe going into it, some with the hip or some shit like that, I don't know, but how much can you really improve in less than a year with the same guy who just dominated you? Granted, O'Malley did make it close at times, and there's aspects of it like I could maybe see O'Malley getting a knockout even still, but like, come on, man, like, let these two divisions, flyweight and bantamweight, figure themselves out for just a few months. This is the time to do it, all right? Pantoja has earned a shot at double champ status, and Merab, you know what? This is a new challenger for him. It'd be an exciting fight. I think Merab takes it, but like, Pantoja brings some dangerous aspects to him, and we got to see how the lighter man skill, man, moves up against Merab. This is a good time to do it while the divisions are figuring themselves out. So, and honestly, I feel like it's just a really interesting fight. Moving on though to what the hell are you gonna do with Umar Nurmagomedov? So I think you should give him Petr Yan. Now, I did say that I think you should do O'Malley versus Yan too, and I do stand by that. That's the fight I think should be made, but I'm confident that the UFC is just going to do Merab versus O'Malley too. Whether we fucking like it or not, which sucks, man. So if that is the case, hypothetically, then Umar versus Yan, I feel like even regardless, like it is a really good fight. And honestly, now we get to see Umar is beatable. Do I think he beats Yan? I do, but like I don't think he's going to come in as some fucking minus 500 favorite like he would before the Merab fight. Now, granted, Umar did lose, but again, he did look good in that fight. He did make it competitive. He took a couple rounds off the bantamweight goat, I think, to be able to hold his own against Umar down there. But Umar is primarily kind of a striker, so it's like the striking exchanges I feel like we'd see on the feet. I'm getting all fucking excited. We'd see on the feet between these two. I feel like it would be a masterclass, because with Umar's dynamic kicks and with Jan's just such fun, precise striking style. Yan is one of the best strikers pound for pound in the UFC. So to see him go against a full-fledged Nurmagomedov, who his main thing is striking, I feel like it'd be a really exciting fight. And if Umar wins this, I think, granted, you know what, fuck it, then maybe give him the rematch against Merab. And if Yan wins this, by that point, he would have clearly already deserved the title shot anyway. So this is a really fun fight. I feel like we'd see a lot of fun exchanges on the feet, and it'd be interesting to kind of see the wrestling scrambles as well, man. Like, whose style is going to get the better of who's going to be able to impose their will on the other one, man. You know what I mean? So Umar versus Yan, I think it's a really good fight to book, so fuck it. Interesting to see the Nurmagomedov without just the Nurmagomedov name, the bloodline, if you will, just without their aura of invincibility anymore. You know what I mean? So moving on up next to what do you do with Money Moicano, bro? It's so unfortunate, man, dude, because this guy, let me tell you something. Paddy Pimblett, easy money. Islam Makhachev, not so easy money. It's rough that he didn't even get a real good moment in, man. And the fact that he got out of there in the first round, it was unfortunate, man. It's not even his fault. Like, Moicano's good. He's got good jiu-jitsu, but it's just, he literally fought the pound-for-pound #1 fighter in the world just with a day's heads up. Granted, he did have a full camp, so physically he was prepared, but just crazy, man. I feel for the guy, even in the post-fight interview. He's human, man. He keeps it real, and he just seems so fucking upset in there, dude. So I would love to see a bounce back from Moicano. I think you give him, I would say give him Paddy Pimblett, but there's big talks to him versus Chandler going on, and I think that's a fight the UFC is going to do. So I say you give him the winner of Paddy and Chandler. Like, I don't think give him the loser, because let's have Moicano fight up in the rankings, okay? Because if Chandler wins, he's going to keep his number, like, what is he, 6, 7, or 8 spot, something like that, which is crazy that he's even still there. But he'll be able to keep that spot, and then Moicano can kind of move up and get closer to that upper echelon of the top 5, or upper echelon in the top 10. And then for Paddy Pimblett, if Paddy wins, Paddy the fucking baddie, lad. Chandler, you're a dead man walking, mate. I'm gonna smash your fucking face, lad. I think if Pimblett beats Chandler, then he's gonna be top 7. Let's have Moicano be able to fight up, okay? And this is the time to do Moicano Pimblett, so if they decide to do that, man, because I feel like they were maybe not booking that one right away. It made all the sense in the world. Like, it'd be amazing trash talk, stylistically it'd be a good fight, it made sense for both guys at that point in their career, but like, I think Moicano, they were maybe a little bit too worried about him beating Pimblett, but now Moicano is coming off of a loss here, so maybe that'll make the UFC a little more inclined. I don't fucking know. But I say give Moicano the winner of Chandler versus Pimblett. I sadly don't know if he's ever going to make it as far to like a title shot length again, but I could see him racking up a couple wins, and I could see him beating either Chandler or Pimblett. So yeah, I say book that one next. So moving on up next to Jiri Prochazka, the man of the hour, the man that proved that the MMA gods were looking out for us. I say, man, it's tough to give what to do with Jiri because, you know, you can't really do the Alex Pereira trilogy yet. We're really starting to see a situation like a Max Holloway or like a Robert Whittaker where they're kind of just in like, they were in like Volk or Izzy's kind of era, man. And Jiri, unfortunately, for as good as he is, and I was saying this going into the fight against Hill in my predictions, like I said, I think this could be a situation where Jiri really is just the clear second best guy in the division. And it seems like that's kind of becoming the case when you really look at Jiri's resume, bro. He's really racking up solid wins. I mean, when you think about it, he's only fought kind of top names, but for the most part in the UFC. And he goes out there, puts on stellar finishes, fun fucking fights, man. Like, Jiri just is the fan favorite you want to have for the UFC. And the fact that the guy's like only 31 or 32, I might be botching that, but the fact that we're going to get many more years of Jiri Prochazka, it's amazing, man. I think you should give him the winner of Blachowicz and Olberg. Again, you can't really run back an Alex Pereira trilogy without at least having Jiri win like maybe 2 or 3 fights, but he can't just win one and then, you know, and I think he realizes that too. I think he's understanding he's probably not going to just go and get the trilogy immediately, but he can earn it, you know what I mean? So I think give him the winner of Blachowicz and Olberg. Oldberg. I think Oldberg personally is going to beat Blachowicz, and like it's one of those situations where I just think it's a matter of age and father time. Like 2 years ago, 100% I'd be going with Blachowicz over Oldberg, even maybe 1 year ago. But the fact that right now it's just with father time, all the time that Blachowicz has kind of been taken off, and Oldberg is kind of riding a lot of momentum right now, is really kind of the biggest prospect that light heavyweight's got. And I don't even think Oldberg's the craziest talent in the world, man. You know, he's good, he seems well-rounded, don't get me wrong, but like not the craziest prospect in the world or anything like that. So I don't think, even if he goes out and he beats old man Jan, I don't even want to call him that, bro. I love Jan too, man. And Jan Blachowicz, he really does have a chance of winning, but I think even if Oldberg beats Blachowicz, it's not really enough to just kind of get people excited enough for a fight against Alex Pereira. And even then, we need to kind of see Oldberg a little bit more battle tested still. Again, good prospect. Getting a couple good wins right now. He's riding a good streak. And that's why I think the winner, if Blachowicz wins, he's still in it, man. And like a fight versus him and Prochazka would be fantastic. A lot of fun exchanges on the feet in that one. And then with Oldberg, Prochazka, of course, is, like I said, proven that he really is kind of becoming the second best in the division if he wasn't already that. And then if Jiri beats Oldberg, boom, that grants a trilogy against Pereira, or maybe just one other win after that. And then if Oldberg wins, he really is just kind of the full-fledged number one contender, and then could face the winner, Ankalaev and Pereira, depending on how that entire thing goes on. Because we have time, basically. Because Pereira is facing Ankalaev, if Ankalaev wins, they're just going to book a rematch for the fall. And then if Pereira wins, there's a good shot they give him like Tom Aspinall sometime in the fall. So Pereira seems like he's going to be busy anyway, so timeline-wise, I feel like this works out. And either way, Jiri versus Oldberg is a fun fight, and Jiri versus Blachowicz. If it's a Blachowicz who's getting wins, and, you know, we're not seeing like an old man Blachowicz, hopefully, that would be a fun fight as well. So moving on up next to what do you do to the man who was the biggest heel of the weekend, Jamahal Hill, bro. I feel bad for Hill, to be honest, bro. I know he's playing the heel role, man, but he's just trying to sell shit, bro. That's just how he is. I know sometimes he's got wild ass takes. I know he could be an annoying as hell sometimes, but like, I really hope that people just aren't going to be completely trashing him, kind of kicking him while he's down. I don't know, man. He went out there, man, and like, he was trying to sell the fight, and he was making it entertaining. He went out there and lived up to his promise that these two were going to put on a war. So I got all respect for Hill, man. Even before his fight against Prochazka, I was saying just overall an underrated fighter. People forget, man. But people forget the dude could fight. I know he lost kind of brutally here, but it is what it is. I say you give him Khalil Roundtree next. These guys were originally going to fight at UFC 303, I believe, but then Hill got injured, and then Roundtree got injured or got popped, some shit like that. It was one of the two. And then I think now is the time to run it back, though. Like, do I think Khalil wins here? Yeah, but I feel like the odds are going to be close, because I could totally see Hill winning. Hill's not just going to be completely out of it, man. But unfortunately, he's ranked still like at 3, 4, or 5, someone like that. So he's going to have tough matchups coming his way. Like, we can't give him somebody kind of outside like the top 12 or some shit like that. You know what I mean? I mean, they could, but like Hill's at this point where he is a former champ and he just kind of does hold that top 3 or 4 ranking. So I feel like he's kind of got to hold on to it. And this is a fight where this would be a banger, boys. Like, we know this would be such an exciting fight. This is a barn burner, a fight that was supposed to happen once before. So clearly both guys were down and probably would be again. Hill, I feel like, isn't going to back down from anybody. And neither is Roundtree. I feel like his nose is finally just getting fucking healed now, which is crazy because at this point the fight against Pereira had happened a few months ago. But yeah, I say do Jamahal Hill versus Khalil Roundtree. It'd be a super fun fight. Makes sense for both guys, especially when you look in the rankings. I feel like we'd see a finish here, and I feel like we'd see a lot of power shots, a lot of good striking exchanges, man, and hopefully we can run that one. So moving on up next to what do you do with Jailton Almeida? So I say you give him Cyril Gane next. I think you should just do, because there's big talks that now Jones is going to be retiring. So either way, Aspinall is going to be doing something, because I think you should give Aspinall Volkov too. They could do the rematch. I think that there's a really good chance that Aspinall runs through him again in a round or two. But like, this is just common shit at this point with Tom Aspinall, as crazy as it is to say. And then if the Jones fight really does happen, then I guess we get the pleasure of seeing that. That is the super fight of 2025. Hopefully we could see them. But if not, regardless, like, Aspinall's got shit going on. So I think you should do Almeida versus Gane. I'm pretty sure that Almeida called out Gane afterwards on the mic. I don't recall. I don't know if I'm remembering that or not, but I know this is a big nightmare for Gane. But like, dude, he's gonna have to just keep fighting grapplers, man. If you're getting out grappled that bad against a guy like Volkov, who, granted, he is well-rounded and he is solid down there, but like, he's not the biggest wrestler in the world, dude. But like, Almeida, fuck it, dude. He's riding a couple fight good win streak. Let's give him somebody that's not just an apex gatekeeper, okay? Like a fucking Sergey Spivak or an Alexander Romanov. let's give Almeida somebody ranked in that upper echelon of the division. I think Cyril Gane. That's a fight that makes sense for both guys. I don't want to see Gane just get a fucking another one fight win, and it was a robbery win. It was a robbery win, and we all know it. And I don't want to just see that one fight robbery win get him another title shot. Like Gane's third title shot, man. It's just fourth if we're counting interim straps. I'm pretty sure something like that. I don't know, dude. But like, how has this dude gotten so many goddamn title shots, bro? I know the UFC wants a big France star. I know that they're clinging on to this right now, but dude, this fight, I mean, you could do it in France, and I'm pretty sure that Almeida will be down. I mean, I'm sick of kind of Gane getting a little bit of that privilege, but they gotta sell tickets. I get it, I guess, man. Gane's just out here making movies and shit, bro. This is just a fight that makes sense, especially when you look at the rankings. Almeida, I feel like, has earned the right, and Gane, I feel like, just does not deserve a title shot. A fight against him and Aspinall would kind of be intriguing, but I feel like Aspinall would just whoop him, so I don't know, man. It's just not enough to warrant the shot right now. Do Almeida versus Gane. I know it's Gane's worst fucking nightmare stylistically, but like, dude, he's gonna have to face people like this eventually, and Almeida's grappling really is that good. And Gane could always win. I could even see, like, I really can't see a Gane win here. I'm just gonna be, you know, of course, leading with Almeida, but Gane is still good. Gane is still talented. You know, he can still go far. He's still relatively young, so he's fine, man. So yeah, I say book that one. So moving on, I'm next to the guy that did not fight on this card, Beneil Dariush versus someone that did fight in this card, Grant Dawson. So Beneil Dariush, he said he wants to come back in April. I feel like you kind of just should have probably found someone to throw him on against the Sydney card while Dariush is fit right now, and while he's still trying to get after it. But like, in the Sydney card, 312, bro. Holy fuck, it's bad, man. It really needs something, so unfortunately it's not gonna get it. So Dariush says he's down for April. Dawson, I believe, called out Dariush, or at the very least, I know he wants to fight in April or is down for around that time. I say book this for the Miami card. Do Beneil Dariush versus Grant Dawson. Grant Dawson is coming off a good win. I know the UFC doesn't really want to put him in the rankings and give him like the big names, because they seem like they're not really a fan of the guy. But dude, I'm a Grant Dawson fan, man. I think he's underrated as hell, and I think he can go far, man. And like, we saw a lot of solid improvements in the striking. Granted, kind of gassed out a bit once you kind of got into that second, third round, but at least we're seeing him kind of get the fuck after a bit more on the well-rounded side of things. You know, we all know how good his wrestling is. We all know that he can go in there and smother guys, absolutely drown guys, overwhelm the fuck out of them in there with his dominant USA wrestling, but he's efficient as hell with it. But like, I feel like Dariush is somebody who, I'm sure the UFC, again, they're probably not super excited to put him in the top 10, but it's a winnable fight for Dariush, and it's a winnable fight for Dawson. Dariush is someone in his own right who's pretty well-rounded. I feel like he's going to be able to give Dawson a solid test on the feet, but when it comes to the grappling exchanges, I feel like we'd see some fun scrambles. Dawson, let's see if Dariush is going to be able to hand the pressure that he's going to be able to put on him, and let's see how good Dawson really is, man, because Dariush, I get that, you know, all the old man allegations and shit, but he really is still solid. It sucks that we didn't get to see him actually fight, so that's kind of a big question mark, but for a guy like Dawson, it'd be a good win, and for a guy like Dariush, it's a winnable fight that proves he's still in it. So I say book this one around like 3:14 Miami time. So moving on up next, let's talk about RDR, man. Shame on y'all for picking Holland. I told y'all, man, shame on y'all for picking Holland. But for RDR, man, I kind of don't really know what to give him. I kind of just threw together Jack Hermansson here because I want to see him face somebody in the rankings. Like, he's already 34 years old. We know the credibility. He's a former double one champ. You can't just go, I mean, look, there's dudes that out-grapple Kevin Holland. There's dudes that beat Kevin Holland, and it's not the craziest thing in the world. But when you're finishing Kevin Holland in one round, especially by submission, who I think the only other guy to have ever done that to him is Khamzat Chimaev, like, RDR immediately from the gate just went and put the pressure on him and was just hunting for the finish. And he's a guy that just, with his style, he's kind of always hunting for the finish. We saw it in the GM3 fight as well. That was admittedly a fun fight, and GM3 was giving him a lot of problems in the striking, so I do think that that's concerning, because RDR's got that drunk man, sloppy man style, but his grappling is legit, man. To be able to submit Kevin Holland in a round, and to be able to submit GM3 at all, those are two feats, man. He's already 34 years old. We know that he won the one double champ strap. So, like, I just want to see him face somebody in the rankings. I really don't give a fuck who. They wouldn't feed him a Shara Bowl for obvious reasons. I think you can give him a Michelle Pereira, but we just saw Fluffy absolutely drown him. I mean, speaking of Fluffy, he's already booked against Brendan Allen. Maybe, like, the loser of that fight or something like that. But I think that you should do Jack Hermansson. Because where the hell is Jack Hermansson anyways, man? He went and he had a really good performance against Joe Pyfer, but that was February of 24. So, no talks of Hermansson being back. I think that timeline-wise, I think you could do RDR versus Hermansson around, like, April, May. RDR is a guy that wants to be active and he wants to make a name for himself, and I think that he should be in the rankings, man, or at the very least get a shot at it, you know what I mean? So moving on to the last one I got here, the man who broke all of our parlays, bro, and yes, I'm still pissed about it, but Payton Talbott, man, this guy really does have to go back to the drawing board and just really work on A, keeping the hands up, man, really work on the striking defense, and B, just working on the wrestling, bro. I was going into that fight saying that defensively, we've seen really good things from Payton Talbott, but we got to see a lot more on the offense, and I think we're going to. I think he has a chance of submitting Barcelos. I think he could finish him on the feet. Yeah, I get it, bro. It aged like shit, all right, but Talbott didn't seem like he's going to be super bummed about it. I think that he's going to be able to recover. I mean, when you're that young, man, and when you're a rising prospect, like, you're going to run into these kinds of challenges sometimes. Obviously, this kind of put a big halt in the hype, and I think a lot of us, it kind of raised a big question mark, because, like, probably isn't going to go as far as we thought, but there's always still a chance, man. A record of 9-1 is still good. Things like this just fucking happen sometimes. He's still 26. I just think he's got to work on those two things, man. Obviously, other holes in the game as well, but I just think you should give him Adrian Yanez next. This is a fight that Talbot initially wanted. Yanez is a guy who started off really strong in the UFC, but as of late, he's kind of been win one, lose one, so it's like, he's beatable, isn't looking super hot, but like, he still is legit, and the dude does have good striking. I feel like this would be a really fun fight on the feet. It makes sense for Talbot, it makes sense for Yanez. I feel like both guys would be down for it. Talbot has just proved that he is very beatable. I don't think Yanez is going to be the guy that's going to be the craziest about the idea of wrestling. So I think these guys are going to primarily want to keep it a standing battle. If anything, Talbot might want to initiate taking it to the ground. We've kind of seen him more comfortable with just being down there, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I feel like that's the fight to make next for Talbot, probably around the summer, something like that. So that is going to be it, guys, for the matchups that I think you should make next for a lot of these fighters after UFC 311. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know what you think of the matchups. Let me know what matchups you would be down to see. Play matchmaker a little bit, and yeah, thank you guys so very much for making this far in the video. All the smoke MMA. Appreciate you all a lot, and I will see you all next time.